9 or 10 years old when we came to America.
My parents were born in the Puglia region, Carbonara, outside of Bari. And my dad was 9 and my mother was 4 in Championship States.
My family came from Sicily on both sides, not exclusively, but both of my grandfathers. And they came from Alcamo and from Colasano, which is right up the hill from Cefalù.
My father's family is all from Calabria, Cosenza, and my mother's family is all from Tuscany and Venice, so Vicenza, and so I'm half Toscani and Veneziani and half Calabrese. I got the best of both worlds, but I always wish I was a little Sicilian. Sicily, I've been there and it's so gorgeous. So, anyway.
Thank you. My next question then is for Cristina Marocco. Your Italian background seems very important to you. So how did you come to write Your Love Monster?
Oh. Wow, it's a long story, but I won't make it long. I'll make it short. I grew up surrounded by my Sicilian relatives, and even when my nuclear family moved west, we were always back in Melrose Park, constantly. And I was a quiet kid who listened a lot, and I just soaked up the stories and the people and the kind of vibration of this. And this wasn't what I saw in my school, and it wasn't what I saw in the neighborhood I had moved to. And this felt like home to me. So even though I didn't know I would write a book about it, probably some part of me always knew that. And I wrote one story, and then they turned into 25 stories. And
Would you like the mic?
Sure.
I think it's
it's
right in the back of the room.
You want me to do it for you?
Yes, please. How's that? Okay. So, I just started writing the stories, and it dawned on me that they probably were a book. And I'm watching my parents get older. They were born in the 1930s, and in these memories, even though my book is fiction, these memories are so important to them that I wanted them to know that I had listened, right? And so in the act of writing the book, it's what I can do to bring the people that they loved alive again, and also just to kind of honor the diaspora and the experience. And also to work with people in my head that I feel really comfortable with, people that really feel like me, like some part of me. So that's my...
So these are real people that you write about?
They're fictionalized, but they're inspired by real people and by real happenings.
Very good. How has your writing been influenced by being an Italian-American woman?
I feel like everything I do is influenced by that, because that's a reality. And in my writing, it always comes forth in some way or other, whether it's in just my narrator's voice, the way that I speak, or in the characters or the understandings that I have about things like life and death and turmoil and leaving things behind and all of that. So I think it's always present. I want to write books, and I do write books that anybody could pick up and they could enter, but that doesn't mean that I soften the reality of it. What I want, I think, is for an Italian-American person to pick it up and feel like they're at home, and for someone else to pick it up and learn something that's not the usual go-tos of mafia or some stereotype. So I think that's how I approach that. But even in my poetry, there's always Italian-American things, and sometimes other people aren't as interested as I would like them to be. But I keep going, and because I think that our literature really matters, and And if you don't accept it the first time, I'm going to keep putting it in front of you.
Good for you. And that's one of our missions here at the Italian Cultural Center, is to save our stories and get our story in writing. Because if we don't put the truth out there, others will misinterpret or use their own narrative to tell our story for us. So it's important that we celebrate writers like yourself and this work that you do to put our, to give up. So authenticity to our stories, so thank you. And that's also, we have this Italian-American authors event once a year, and we like to promote our stories. I feel that even if you're writing a story that's not about anything Italian-American, your heritage comes out. Just like you were saying, there's a little bit of a perspective that comes out, and so I think it does influence our writing.
Can I jump in and say
Yes.
something really quickly too? If any of you are writing poetry, fiction, nonfiction, I just want you to know that there's an excellent online journal on top of the things that are done here called Ovunque Siamo, and we're always taking submissions, and just because you haven't done it before, if you haven't, or maybe you do, keep us in mind, because one of the things that online journal is doing is preserving the stories. And you don't have to write about Italian things. You just have to be new Italian-American writer.
What's the name of the thing again?
Ovunque Siamo.
Thank you.
And also our Italian Women in Chicago book, which I keep talking about, give Italian women a voice that may not have been previously heard. Thank you for sharing that. Lisa, speaking of the JCCIA and women, given that there is a women's division, must have meant that there was a need for a women's division within the JCCIA. So can you tell us about your role in the women's division, and why did you specifically join
Thank you.
yes.
So I believe that the JCCI was made up of just gentlemen in the past, so I think that's why the women's division came about many, many years ago. I got involved, I used to attend some events, like the women's division did a cookie exchange at Christmas time back then, and I ran into an old friend of mine. She was chairing that at the time, Enza. And so I said, I had raised my kids, so I said, I have time and I want to get more involved now. So I ended up on her board, and then ended up as JCCI first vice president, and worked with Frank. We had a really great team, did a lot of wonderful things, and as part of being on the JCCI board, I joined the women's division as well. They're together, but they're separate, because the women's division does certain things. So with the women's division, they do their fashion show every year or whatnot, but I thought there could be some new things added to it, and suggested we do Festa della Donna, something that is celebrated in Italy, but a lot of the ladies never even heard of it in Chicago. So we started doing that 4 years ago, and recognizing Italian-American women. The first year we had a theme of just regular, I don't want to say regular women, but extraordinary women who did videos for us. And I think that might have been during the time of COVID, or right before. We're going on 4 years with this, so I don't know, I've lost those 2 years, 3 years. And then the next year, I think it was actually during COVID, we recognized women first responders and teachers, people who were public servants. So we did a video, they all did videos for us on that. And every day of the month we do some things during the month of March, which is really nice, posted on Facebook. If we had the Festa della Donna event, like we are having this month, many of them came and attended. And last year we did a compilation of women's stories. Everybody wrote a little short story about either their traditions or memory about their family or something like that. That authors usually do, but this was just all members who have wanted to submit something. So we had a nice little booklet that everybody went home with. And then this year we were doing the authors. So every day during the month of March will be an Italian-American woman author that we put together, and we are doing our Festa della Donna event, as mentioned, March 13th at Paredes, and you're all welcome to attend if you like. And what I thought would be fun, because I love to read, and I'll read anything, but I do look up Italian American authors and, you know, purchase those books either at Barnes & Nobles or Amazon, whatever. But I do enjoy reading, so I thought, let's do a book exchange. So everybody is supposed to bring a book from an Italian American author, whether it's fiction, nonfiction, or a cookbook, and then everybody goes home with one. If you brought one, you go home with one. So I thought, what a great idea to introduce people to some new Italian American authors. And just always trying to promote not only females, but Italian Americans. So, you know, to bring it to light.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
Thank you. The next series of questions is related to careers and career choices. So I've developed 4 questions which I'd like each of the panelists to consider. The first one is, did you encounter any problems in being a woman, or specifically an Italian-American woman, in your field, in your chosen field? The second question, do you feel that there have been advantages to being a woman in your field? Because as there are disadvantages, there are also advantages. Do you feel that you chose your your career specifically because you are a woman? And so we'll start with that. So we'll start with Olympia. Thank you. So did you encounter any problems in being a woman, or you're getting started? You're graduating this year, this semester. So did you encounter any problems in
like in my academics?
Yes,
or
your academics, sure.
So as of yet, I haven't encountered any of those problems, thankfully. I'm an English student and minoring in Italian and philosophy, and all 3 of those departments at my university, I attend Loyola University, if that wasn't mentioned previously. They're all dominated by women, which is really nice. So I get to spend a lot of my days going to classes taught by women, hearing women's perspectives on pieces written by men, which really it challenges me and the other people in my class, because the text was written one way and we're interpreting it in 2, 3, 4, 5 completely different ways. So no, I haven't encountered any difficulties, but I feel like being a woman in my field has helped me understand different pieces a lot better.
Thank you. And do you feel you chose your career? Your career choice is law.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you feel that being a woman has influenced your career choice?
I love to argue. So genuinely, I love to argue, and I feel like I was raised, my parents